Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
Good evening. Certain TWiT producers feel it would be a little unkind to present this event without just a word of friendly warning. We are about to unfold the story of TWiT's 24 Hours of 2015, an event of science sought to drive Mr. Laporte into the madness of his own image without reckoning upon God. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not wish to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we warned you.
Thank you, Rod. Rod Serling, ladies and gentlemen, as portrayed by Alex Gumpel. Hey, good morning.
Good evening.
Good evening. The lights are now off. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin 24 hours of insanity, our 24 hours of 2015. Our solo cameraman, Vince, is going to follow me around, and I'm ready to go to New Zealand. We've got 10 seconds till we begin the new year with Andrew Smith in Arrowtown, Otago, New Zealand. Andrew, are you there, Andrew? We're going to begin the whole thing. We're dropping the ball. Don't you drop the ball? Happy New Year! The first new year, ladies and gentlemen, 2015 has begun in New Zealand. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Andrew.
G'day, how you going?
Happy New Year. Who's that behind you?
Yeah, this is Dominic.
Dominic, hi, how are you? And you're in Arrowtown.
Yes, that's right, just down the road from Queenstown.
Awesome. A beautiful part of New Zealand. In fact, my friend Trey Ratcliffe lives nearby.
Yeah, I discovered he lived here through your show, actually.
Hey, it's great to see you. So what are you planning for New Year? By the way, you're the first of 2015. What's it like in the future?
It's very dark and rainy, unfortunately.
I love it. Andrew, it's really great to have you here. Are you a TWiT? Do you watch anything on TWiT?
I watch TWiT every week, and I also love Triangulation and This Week in Google.
Wonderful. We're so glad that you and your son could be here. I presume he's your son, not just some straight child.
That's right, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
and you let him stay up a little bit late for this.
That's right, special occasion.
Where's the rest of the family? They're all in bed, probably.
Yeah, that's right, early start.
Well, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for being our very first victim for New Year's Eve 2015. What do you do? What's the tradition in Arrowtown, the celebration? Do you fireworks, anything?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of fireworks going on in the background. Just have a few beers, and normally we just soak up the sun this time of year, so it's a bit unusual. Right?
Yeah. Is the weather good right now?
Not today, unfortunately. It's been a lovely week, and then New Year's comes, and it's been raining and really cold, actually. So.
Well, we have a tradition, and we kind of missed the clock on this one, but I'm gonna start the tradition right now. Do you do champagne in Arrowtown?
Sometimes, yes.
I hope you do fine Cook's champagne. We found this for $4 a bottle, and we're gonna open a bottle every New Year's Eve. So we didn't get the countdown on in time. So 5, 4. I see the smoke machine has started. 3, 2. I gotta aim this, otherwise Ryan or Marsha, our lighting guy, will kill me. 1. Happy New Year, New Zealand! Cheers, mate. And already the splashing has begun. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, Andrew and son. Take care.
Right. Happy New Year.
Cheers. Okay, little piece of advice. Don't get champagne up your nose. Wow. All right, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 24 hours of 2015. We've already begun the new year. out across the international date line. We've already doused myself with champagne, and we welcome you. We're going to spend the next 24 hours welcoming the new year in all over the world, and I think Sydney is next in a little bit of time, but I want to also tell you something a little different about this year's New Year's celebration. We're doing it for, I think, a really great cause, UNICEF, and we'd like you to join us sometime in the next 24 hours to benefit UNICEF, help build a better world for this brand new year by donating. We've got a special site set up at unicefusa.org/twit. Now, I know it says UNICEF USA, and that's because we're in the United States, but your donation helps children all over the world. Every day, children die from preventable diseases, and UNICEF takes proven, low-cost methods to save children's lives and makes them available regardless of income, ethnicity, or location. Your tax-deductible donation. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you can donate from anywhere in the world to unicefusa.org/twit. Got a little singing. I think we still have Andrew on the line from... I didn't think I'd get champagne on the suit so quick here. Life-saving vaccines, insecticide-treated bed nets, essential supplies, and vital health information. And this is one of the reasons I was really excited to choose UNICEF this year, because they're helping combat Ebola and protect the most vulnerable victims of Ebola, the children. Emergency relief, of course, following natural disasters. Educational opportunities, things like the School in a Box kits, and a lot more. U.S. Fund for UNICEF supports UNICEF's global efforts to provide children with immunizations, education, medicine, emergency relief, and clean water to protect children from violence and exploitation. I've decided to take my donations and spread them throughout the day. So I started us off this morning with a $100 donation. You can, if you wish, have your name attached to your donation, and we'll be glad to read your name. We do stay tuned because we're going to have lots of other kind of bonuses for those who donate. But you can do it and write this down, unicefusa.org/twit. And have we set a goal? I would like to really raise a huge amount of money. We've got here our thermometer, and this is kind of a silly goal of $20,000. I think we can do much better, but let's start, okay? With $20,000, we're going to start coloring in the thermometer. Thanks to Burke, who made the thermometer. Very nicely done, by the way, Burke. This was his second attempt. I won't tell you what the first one looked like. Your donation will help us get closer to a day when every child has a safe and healthy childhood. We thank you so much for supporting UNICEF. Again, unicefusa.org/twit. From anywhere in the world, your donation of any amount is more than appreciated. Should I start coloring in, or are we going to have somebody do that? Who's the colorer? I got 8 people looking at me going, I don't know. All right, so what do we do next? Let's go to page 2. By the way, I didn't mention this, but Andrew is a web developer and gadget enthusiast and plays Ingress in his town of Arrowtown. He's a big Ingress fan. Are we going to the next clipboard already? All right, moving along. Now, what about activities?
Well, check out your clipboard.
Morning yoga and a dramatic poetry reading. All right, who's doing the yoga? Zach is here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, one of our newest employees at TWiT, and I like the T-shirt.
Thank you, Leo.
And thank you for a yoga mat.
Purple mat.
Am I going to have to actually do yoga?
Yes, you're going to actually have to do yoga.
Okay, you may be wondering why I'm not wearing the traditional tuxedo. This is why, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't think I could do yoga in a tuxedo. All right, so you're going to show me morning yoga, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll hope you follow along and do this at home as well.
Yes, you can follow along on screen.
Oh, thank you for this.
You're welcome, man. I thought you would like that.
Yeah, it's lovely.
We will have
It has
images
the scent of
on
orchids.
the screen.
Should I take off my shoes?
You should take off your shoes.
This is
You
yoga's
should go
done barefoot? I'll leave my
Barefoot's
socks on. How about that? And my bow tie.
You're getting yoga instruction from the best instructor in all of Sonoma.
Do you teach yoga?
I started teaching yoga.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your practice, Zach.
Well, I've had lots of practice, Leo. I went to yoga class yesterday and the day before.
So he's a trained professional.
So I'm all set for this.
Okay.
Perfect. So we will start off with our first pose, which is a greeting pose. You just want to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, just like this, and say howdy.
I thought it was namaste. Howdy, Zach.
Howdy. All right, next pose we're going to do a nice and rise and shine pose. I'm going to face forward so the camera can see us.
Should I stay this? Should I do whatever you do, I will do. Okay.
Mirror me.
Whither thou goest.
And what we're going to do is we're going to reach up to the sky and just get a nice stretch. So go ahead and reach
Okay.
both arms. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and down.
And down.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
What a great way to start your day at 3 a.m.
Good morning.
Let's do another stretch
All
like
right.
that. So let's do that 2 more times.
Okay.
So we're going to reach up, stretch. 1, 2.
Oh, do you get on your tippy toes too? Oh,
You know, it's
yeah.
kind of an advanced technique, but
Okay.
you can get on your tippy toes. Reach up to the sky.
Yes.
And you can feel the energy flow and release throughout your body. So
Oh, we are
and
saying
stretches.
is give peace and
So our next pose we're going to do is called a half moon.
half moon.
We're going to do half moon left. When we start our poses, we're going to start with the left side and move to the right side.
Thank you.
So reaching up with our hands
Just
together
remember, your dollars help this PBS station. Go ahead.
and lean to the left. Just feel the stretch along the side of your body. And then straighten out.
This is supposed to hurt.
And now do the other way. Perfect. Okay. Next stretch we're going to do.
You know, it's midnight in New Zealand right now.
All right. We have a poetry reader.
Oh, to go along with this?
A poetry reader is going to accompany us.
We've actually recruited somebody to do this.
This is news to me, but this is part of yoga. It's about going with the flow and being able to bend and adapt to anything.
Anything. I already feel better.
So whenever the poetry wants to come in, they're welcome.
I think that this is via Skype. Simon
Yes,
Phipps.
indeed.
Well, it's great to
Hello.
see you, Simon. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Leo. You're looking great there, doing your yoga in the middle of the night. It's a beautiful sunny morning here in the United Kingdom.
How nice. The sun is coming up. And Simon, you're the host of a show, are you not?
I am. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Floss Weekly show, the show about free, libre, and open source software.
We love it, along with Randall Schwartz, Aaron Newcomb, and the gang. And Simon, what qualifies you to read poetry besides your Ponzi accent?
Absolutely nothing apart from...
Wait a minute, he's behind me! Get out of... Okay. So, Simon, you're going to read and I'm going to pose. What is our first selection, Simon?
So I'm just going to start you off with a very famous... the first few poems I've selected for you are all on the theme of journeys.
Ah, I love that. All right.
And I've got a very famous poem that King George V read at the end of the year to prepare the Britain for war.
Oh, my.
And so I'm going to read you a little segment from that. And then I'm going to read you some Robert Frost, which I know you love.
I did ask for some because I'm a fan. So, Zach, would you continue with the posing while Simon reads the poetry?
We left off after doing
Go ahead,
half
Simon.
moon stretches.
Okay.
Next thing we're going to do is
So the first poem is by a poet called Minnie Louise Haskins, and it was quoted by King George V on Christmas 1939. It's called The Gate of the Year. And I said to the man who stood at the gate of the year, "Give me a light, that I may tread safely into the unknown." And he replied, "Go out into the darkness and put your hand in the hand of God. That shall be to you better than light and safer than a known way." And so now a poem that many people will know by the American poet Robert Frost. The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in steps. In leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh some ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. We're going to turn off the road for a moment to another poem that Leo requested. This poem is by Lewis Carroll. It's called Jabberwocky, and I'm expecting Leo to adapt each of the positions mentioned in this poem. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves, and the mome wraiths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jub-Jub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day! Callooh, Calais! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves, and the mome wraiths outgrabe. Excellent dead Jabberwock pose there, Leo.
Beware the I love that poem, Simon Phipps. You are marvelous. You brought it to life. I was living at it as his vorpal blade went snicker-snack. Wow. Did you? I have this fantasy that all British schoolboys have to learn that poem in school. Is that the case?
I did actually learn that poem in school, and I did actually used to enter poetry reading competitions at school, as of course every English schoolboy does.
Yes. And what was your choice? Excuse me, I'm busy being a child or some sort of thing. What was your favorite read in those competitions?
I used to love a poem by G.K. Chesterton called The Rolling English Road.
That sounds wonderful.
Before the Romans came to Rye, or out of Severn strode, the rolling English drunkard made the rolling English road.
That's how did that go over in the school poetry competition?
Well, I never won.
Simon, you want to do some yoga with us? Any chance we could get you in
I have more journey for you, actually. So
yes.
As we've started on the road less travelled, Rudyard Kipling wrote a poem about that as well, called The Way Through the Woods. And so I'm going to read you The Way Through the Woods. And then after that, I'm going to read you one of my favourite poems, also by Rudyard Kipling, called The Danegeld.
Love it.
And that will transition us to other things.
Love it.
So the first poem I've got for you here is by the English Victorian poet Rudyard Kipling, and it's called The Way Through the Woods. They shut the road through the woods 70 years ago. Weather and rain have undone it again, and now you would never know there was once a road through the woods before they planted the trees. It is underneath the coppice and heath and the thin anemones. Only the keeper sees that, where the ringdove broods and the badgers roll at ease. There was once a road through the woods. Yet, if you enter the woods on a summer evening, late, when the night air cools on the trout-ringed pools where the otter whistles his mate, they fear not men in the woods because they see so few. You will hear the beat of a horse's feet and the swish of a skirt in the dew, steadily cantering through the misty solitudes, as though they perfectly knew the old lost road through the woods. But there is no road through the woods.
Is this the strangest reaction you've ever received to a poem, Simon?
Yeah, I don't remember the judges doing exactly that as I was reading it.
In the States, you know, for a while we snapped our fingers, but now we find Happy Baby is the best way to acknowledge a lovely performance. We do it all the time in the theaters here in the States.
It's sufficiently ridiculous that I do actually have to insert an extra journey into
lovely.
This is an anonymous poem from a wonderful collection of poems called Verse and Worse. And it's called The Irish Pig. This is a drinking poem as well.
Okay.
'Twas an evening in November. As I very well remember, I was strolling down the street in drunken pride when my knees went all aflutter and I landed in the gutter and a pig came up. A sight. Yes, I lay there in the gutter, thinking thoughts I dare not utter, when a colleen passing by did softly say, "Ye can tell a man that boozes by the company he chooses." And the pig got up and slowly walked away.
I love that. You see, poetry really has a place in modern life.
Well, so I often refer to this next poem when I'm talking about open source software and particularly the perils of proprietary software. This poem is called The Danegeld. It relates to an episode of European history when the Vikings used to wander around Europe invading places and then demanding that you pay a ransom to the Danes. And so this poem is called The Danegeld.
And I want to thank you, Simon, for adding a much-needed technical element to this festivities this morning. So this is as regards open source versus proprietary. Let's hear it.
That's right. So this is called Danegeld.
Yes.
It is always a temptation to an armed and agile nation to call upon a neighbor and to say, "We invaded you last night. We are quite prepared to fight, unless you pay us cash to go away." And that is called asking for Danegeld. And the people who ask it explain that you've only to pay them the Danegeld and then you'll get rid of the Dane. It is always a temptation to a rich and lazy nation to puff and look important and to say, "Though we know we should defeat you, we have not the time to meet you. We will therefore pay you cash to go away." And that is called paying the Danegeld. But we've proved it again and again that if once you have paid him the Danegeld, you never get rid of the Dane. It is wrong to put temptation in the path of any nation for fear they should succumb and go astray. So when you are requested to pay up or be molested, you will find it better policy to say, "We never pay anyone Danegeld, no matter how trifling the cost. For the end of that game is oppression and shame, and the nation that plays it is lost."
Simon, that is great. And of course, the Brits know very well. Oh, Simon's disappeared from my green screen here, but I don't know why.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
He's over there. There he is. I just say the Brits know this very well, having been invaded many times, not only by the Danes, but everybody else in Scandinavia. And then the Norsemen went to Normandy, and they came from the south. And my God, you guys have paid too much Danegeld. Stop it.
The last time we were invaded was actually either 1066 or when we allowed the US movie industry to take control.
Simon Phipps, hey, thank you so much. Do you have any more for us, or does that conclude our
I have as
culture
many
segment?
as you want. I have as many as you want until your next segment goes up.
I think we're ready to move on to the next. But Simon, thank you so much for all the good work you do on Floss Weekly. And boy, that was really inspiring. I also want to thank Zach for some, poetry and yoga goes together, Zach. I feel rejuvenated. I feel as if we're almost just beginning the day. Oh, wait a minute, we are. Thank you, Simon Phipps, for our first segment. We appreciate it so much. All
Great
the
to
best.
see you.
Happy
Good
New
luck
Year
with the day.
2015. Take care. Bye-bye. Really nice stuff. And Zach, you're great. I enjoyed that. How long have you been doing yoga, Zach? 2 days now, and he's a... Really? I've been doing it for like 20 years, but okay, we'll just ignore that. And I'm going to go over now to what used to be our TNT set and now has become a very important part of the show. You know Karsten Bondi, great to see you. Thank you for getting up so early in the morning. We should tell people it's about 3:23 in the morning in California, but we had to begin with New Year's Eve in New Zealand. We're going to actually do something very interesting. We're going to fly over the international date line in a few minutes. But in between now and then, Karsten wears every day a tie to work. He's the best dressed guy at TWiT, and he wears a bow tie every day and looks so sharp, so fine, and so nice. How long have you been wearing a bow tie?
I learned to tie a tie only about 2 years ago.
Again, I've been doing this like 40 years, but okay, you show me how to tie.
Get our newest employee, Jason.
Jason Clanthus, who's never worn a tie in his life. Wait a minute. Now, when you were in the Navy, did you ever have to wear a tie as part of your
Yes, but not a bow tie.
full dress? And never a bow tie, always a necktie.
Yes.
So you're going to help us out. Karsten has quite a nice selection. How many bow ties do you have now?
I own maybe about 10.
I started wearing bow ties in 1982.
Okay.
When I went on a cruise to the Virgin Islands to St. Thomas, and I found a little shop called the Bow Tie Shop, and I bought 100 bow ties, which I wish I still had because it was so much fun. But I stopped wearing bow ties because, frankly, I got too old. But young people like you guys, you could wear bow ties. It's kind of the old becomes new again, right? So show us how. We're going to tie a tie.
So you get the tie.
First, you put it around your neck. Okay.
Around your neck.
Just checking. Okay.
All around. Okay. Get your left-hand side slightly longer than the right hand.
Okay. So
That'll give you room to get the
for the knot.
Okay.
All right.
So
And by the way, I like the nice mirror that we have brought in. Vince, can you just show that so you see that we actually have, so we can look into this mirror? No, over there. Yeah, there you go. And by the way, there's this. Vince, get in the mirror so we can see you. There you go. That's Vince. He's going to be part of the show today for a long time, poor guy. All right, now.
left-hand side in your right hand, right-hand side in your left hand.
Oh, we're going to crisscross, okay?
Crisscross. Crisscross the left over the right, and then under.
It's actually just like tying a shoe, isn't it?
It is like
Now, what do? We like that?
nice tight as you want.
Okay. Now they've kind of evened up a little bit here. Yeah.
Make a bow.
A bow with the left.
With the one that's now on the left.
Okay.
The one that was the right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And just drape the other side
Over the top. Okay.
Make a bow with that. Fold it over itself. Now this is the tricky part.
Why did we put the best stuff on in the first part of the show? Okay.
This is the tricky
Yeah.
part. You gotta, it's tricky. You will have a little hole that you've made.
Yeah.
A little loop.
Bunny goes down the hole.
And now
Yeah.
you stick your loop
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
that loop. Okay.
Is Carson's mic on? Because everybody except me and Jason can't hear him. Is it? Okay, I thought the chat room was saying they couldn't hear him. Or maybe they just fell asleep. So sorry, Kim. How's that?
Neaten it up.
Something's wrong there. This is going one way and...
I think you got it. You just kind of got to neaten it up a little. Here. Jason.
Do you know how to tie your shoes?
Here you go. Perfect.
This is effing done, by the way, chat room. The guy who so many years plagued you, yeah. Now he's just effing.
Yep.
Now he's done. You can't turn away. No turning away from the bow tie
There you go.
mirror.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. Look at that perfect job he did.
Look at that. Wait, hold on.
It even changed color while he was doing it. It's really remarkable. Did you find that difficult? It's just like tying your shoe, Jason. Do it again.
At
Do it again.
3:30 in the morning.
This goes over the top. Don't think about what time it is.
Okay. Wait.
No, other way around. Yeah,
one
that's
goes
it.
over.
Yeah, under and under. Yeah, yeah.
Just like a tie.
Just like it's really just like tying your shoes. If you
Okay.
think of tying your
All right.
shoes,
And then you said
Now,
like, make a
no.
thing.
This one, yeah,
make a thing,
bow.
make a bow. Yeah,
And this one goes
yeah.
over that bow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've never done this on another man before.
Have you done it on another woman before?
Where's
no.
the Chadwick?
And then stick it through here.
Usually when you do it from behind like this. That way you know how to.
Okay, I'm.
Yeah. You're a sandwich. You're an effing done sandwich.
All right,
Okay.
you do it from behind.
Okay,
I
it's
can't do
easier
it from
that
the
way.
front.
Okay. But you don't have to duck. You don't have to stand up. Stand up straight. Stand up straight. I don't want to humiliate you. Okay.
I think that bridge has been crossed.
Did they tell you humiliation was involved in this?
No.
No. All right. And the real trick is you don't have to make it look good at first.
Right.
You kind of tidy it up
Exactly.
afterwards. That's why you always see in the movies, the guy's fussing with it, and then his beautiful wife comes and says, "Oh, you silly boy, let me just fix this for you. Now how do you feel, Jason?"
There you go.
Feels special.
It's so special. I think wearing a bow tie is actually great. I really do. I like how it looks. And, this tie is the one I wear with my tuxedo, and I just think that's jazzy.
Classy.
Classy, that's the word.
Classy for the new year.
Thank you. Karsten Bondi. I've known Karsten as long as anybody in this building because I've told this story many times before, but we met on the site on MSNBC. Karsten was a producer there. Actually, what was your title there?
I was a researcher/writer.
And had you ever done any virtual character manipulation?
Not at all. As much as you have. Maybe less.
Nobody had.
Yes.
I think we were the first prime-time appearance of a real-time virtual character.
Yes.
In 1994 or 95, whenever it was, 96.
Yep.
And it was a Silicon Graphics Onyx, which is $1 million box then, and is now not nearly as powerful as a modern $200 PC.
I think my phone's more powerful.
It was connected to my butt, and then I had a suit, right?
Yes. It was,
Did I have to wear a suit, or there was?
You wore a suit with magnetic sensors Velcro.
It had
to
dots all over it, but it wasn't. It was magnetic.
It was magnetic.
It was not optical.
Yes.
And I would move like this, and then you and Christine would manipulate the eyes, the hair. And was Christine doing the math? No, the math was automatic.
The mouth was just flapped automatically.
It didn't actually flap in synchrony to anything.
Yeah.
It just went blah, 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 blah. And that was Dev Null, the character Dev Null. And Karsten and I met then when he was my puppeteer.
Yeah.
And he's had his hand up my butt ever since. What?
And I still have fond memories of watching.
Do you remember that?
Oh,
yeah.
crystal clear.
My only Emmy.
With your purple.
Which I share with you and Christine, because really it wasn't fair for me to get that because it took 3 people to make one jerk.
They gave me a statue for a couple days.
Did you?
Yeah.
You briefly had it?
I briefly
you rented
had
it? All right.
Yeah.
You may borrow mine anytime
Timeshare.
anytime you want. So there you go. A bow tie is just like a shoe, but it's a little butterfly-y. You look actually quite sharp.
Yeah.
I think that's a good look for you.
Yeah.
Look how nice he looks. All right, thank you, Karsten,
Ready to go out on the town.
for teaching for teaching us how to tie a tie. And that's really the time most guys wear a tie, isn't it? A tuxedo now.
Yep.
But it's actually great looking. Karsten wears one every day.
It's really the easiest way to class yourself up.
Yeah.
You don't have to shave. You don't have to.
Yeah,
like,
you wear a bow
get
tie, people
haircut.
go, hey, there's the guy. That's all they see.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the guy with a bow tie.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Karsten. And I think, let me see what time it is. We've got a little time to kill here,
We
right?
do have a little time to
Because
kill.
we're going to go up in an airplane in about 20 minutes.
Yep. Maybe.
Maybe. We're working on that. Dan Hoy, who is a good friend and of the show and works for Sea Crane, he lives in China acquiring goods for the Sea Crane catalog. I'll stand in the light. How about that? Aren't I a trained professional? Look at this. I was told a good friend of mine, Steve Porter, who was our floor director
Thank you for playing
on the
along.
Screensavers, used to do a chat show. And he said they had Zsa Zsa Gabor on once. And Zsa Zsa was so aware of where the light was that she would actually move like this. And her face was always perfectly lit. So I shall do the same. Anyway, Van Hoy, who is a works at Sea Crane and acquires all the stuff and helps oversee the manufacture in China, was on with us last year doing the New Year in China. Was he in Hong Kong or Shanghai? I can't remember where. This year he's in a plane, and we think he will be flying over the international dateline at exactly midnight. That seems like a long shot, doesn't it? So, A, we've got to get him on a plane via, it's not Skype, it's got to be phone, right? B, the plane has to time its flight over the international dateline exactly at midnight. This is never going to happen. So meanwhile, I have half an hour to kill.
You want to talk about the auctions?
I will talk about the auction. So let me have a seat. One thing I just want to tell you. This is going to be a long show. We're going to be here for another 24 hours, and I'm going to rest whenever I can. Come here, Glenn. You know what I need is a handheld microphone.
Yes, sir.
So why don't we get one of those for Mr. Glenn? And so, as you know, we're doing this, and we're going to be doing this for a long time, and it's just going to get more and more chaotic. But we're doing this as a benefit for UNICEF. Come on over. And UNICEF is a great charity you're probably familiar with. In fact, you didn't when you were a kid, Glenn, probably, but in my childhood, for Halloween, we would, instead of candy sometimes, trick or treat for UNICEF. Did you ever do that with the orange boxes?
I remember it was a thing. I did not do it, but I certainly remember that from my childhood. Am I on? Real time. Oh, of course. My kids. There we go.
I'll keep tapping it till it makes a sound. There we go. So you are familiar with it stands for United Nations Children's Fund. And UNICEF is a great organization. We were looking for an international charity, 4-star rated, which it is. Charity Navigator gives it 4 stars. 91% of all the funds go right to relief all over the world, for kids particularly. Yes. And I wanted something this year that would support Ebola. Kids are especially at risk for Ebola in Africa. So we wanted to make sure it was an organization that was doing good all over the world. And we were really thrilled to be teamed up with UNICEF. We're going to take donations for the next 24 hours at unicefusa.org/twit. We will start coloring in the thermometer. $4,000 so far.
Yeah, $1,000 in less than an hour.
That's fantastic, everybody. Thank you so much. And there are some auction items.
Yeah, there are. So if you go to twit.tv/eBay.
Twit.tv/eBay.
We have a variety of auction items available. Some stuff that's been donated by some of our sponsors. For instance, you can get memberships to lynda.com, IT Pro TV. We have iFixit Toolkit signed by the entire iFixit team. We also have some unique Twit items that are there, including...
Look at that bobblehead, which has not been on sale for some time.
Leo Laporte bobbleheads, which signed.
Signed by me. That should add at least $2 to the value.
Twit etched mugs, which you can't get anywhere outside of this studio. We have people that visit the studio all the time. We have people that try to steal these etched mugs.
Yeah, Dvorak has about a dozen.
This is the only way you can get them is through these eBay auctions. Yeah. And one thing that we thought would be fun, because people request this of you sometimes, Leo Laporte records your outgoing voicemail message.
How many of those do we have?
I believe, what do we have, Jeff? 10? 10?
That's good. All right.
10 are listed.
So I'll do a nice job, I promise you, for those.
12. Pardon me. All right. Oh, and Fezarama has donated. Fezarama, who does the custom Twit fezzes that you see on photos everyone takes when they visit the Brick House, Fezarama has donated, they're doing 12 custom Twit fezzes that you can bid on, blue velvet, embroidered with the Twit gear, and sized to fit your head perfectly. If you win the auction...
This is pretty special, I'll tell you why. The guy at Fezarama, who created the fezzes for us originally, those blue velvet, had one bolt of that fabric.
Yeah.
And he made those fezzes for us originally, but then that was it. And the new fezzes have black velvet, and they're gold. Actually, I should have brought it there. I'll call Lisa and have her bring it in when she comes in.
Got some in the back.
But he apparently has a little bit of that blue velvet left. So this is going to be a one-of-a-kind item because once that blue velvet runs out, and I think this will use it up, there's no more. So if you want the official Twit Fez look, and boy, I wish I could remember his name. The great guy, Jason. That's right. At Fezorama, Jason and his wife are costume designers. They teach costume design in Southern California, and they made these for us originally. So that's a great auction item, and that is never going to be duplicated.
And that's what we really wanted to do, was give people some unique things that they can bid on. You know, and we're just really excited about this, to be raising money for UNICEF. Now, last year we did this 24 hours. Do you want to talk a little bit about how this all sort of came together? Because I remember it's a great story.
It was very haphazard, really.
Originally, it was
Were you there?
2012. Yes, we were sitting in a meeting, and I think we were about, what, maybe 2 weeks out from New Year's, and you said, you know, it really sucks that all you have is Kathy and Anderson, and Dick Clark does his thing for 3 hours.
We were watching. Lisa and I were watching, and at 9 p.m. California time, the ball drops at midnight in New York, and then it's like, good night, everybody, and that was it. I said, we got 3 hours. What do we... So we decided to do a better job.
But you had this brainstorm in this meeting. This was originally 2012 going into 2013. Look of fear just goes over everyone's
Lisa
face.
just said no.
Yeah, Lisa was like, no. That was 2 weeks out. If you want to do it, we're doing it next year. We didn't do it that year.
We didn't do it.
So we did it 2013 going into 2014, a year ago.
Last year.
Now, with that, we had, thankfully, an entire year's notice. Because we said, and Lisa, to her credit, said, if you really want to do this, we will declare it. We will make it happen. We will make it work.
And I said I want to do it for charity this year.
Yeah, this year. So
after the first year, it was fun and exhausting.
Yes, a proof of concept.
Pretty haphazard.
Went pretty well.
But we had a band and Steve Gibson dancing with Captain Kirk. We had a lot of fun and games. That was great. I didn't realize we had planned it the year before. Couldn't do it in the short time frame. So we did it the following year, last year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, you know, it was funny because a lot of us realized, like, we don't have a lot of stuff we like to do on New Year's. You know, it's, I mean, if you look...
Well, we're sad and lonely geeks, and so what are we going to do?
Really? I mean, you know, a friend has a party. Maybe you go out and see a band. Maybe you go out and pay way too much for some sort of entertainment.
One year, I was at a New Year party just a few years ago, and my friend Pete Hale, who's going to be performing, I think, maybe, we're hoping, later tonight. Is he? Yeah, with his band Hots. Pete Hale, maybe he'll demonstrate this. He did a fake split. You know, the one where you put your leg and then you stick it out and it looks like you're doing the splits? And I didn't really fully understand, so I thought I would mirror his fake split with a real split. This is a true story. And I hurt myself badly. I was trapped in the split thing and then just fell over sideways and hobbled home, and it was in bed by 10. So after that, I promised no more New Year's Eve festivities and certainly no more splits. But this is a really good reason to stay up. In fact, I hope all of you or many of you will stay up all night with us. I know some of you are going to bed now. Some of you are just waking up. It's 6:39 in the New York, in the East Coast area. I know some of you have already celebrated. We had New Year's Eve in New Zealand already. Yeah. I believe the first time zone.
There's some controversy about that.
There's controversy.
We talked about this. This has come up almost
every time. There's American Samoa.
Well, the issue was in the year 2000, there was one time zone that originally was towards the end, and they decided they were going to skip an entire day.
Bicentennial Island.
Millennium Island.
Millennium Island. Okay.
Because they wanted to be the first place, the new
Millennium
Island decided they wanted to be the first one to steal the thunder of every other nation. But it's a little controversial, so some people don't really recognize
We don't recognize Millennium Island. I'm sorry. So Millennium Island claims to be in the new year, but frankly, if you look at the line that they drew to make that time zone happen, you're not in the new year.
I don't think that's officially.
You got 24 hours, dudes. But we started with the old school New Zealand, and that was a lot of fun. And we're going to just slowly work our way around the globe and end up, kind of ironically, near Millennium Island in 24 hours and celebrate the last one and then fall. I remember after last year's event saying. You know, kind of the memorable quote, "Never again." Yes. Never again. And then, like childbirth, you forget the pain, and you just say, then you only remember the good stuff, like Steve Gibson making coffee and dancing with Captain Kirk. He was here most of the day. Taylor Karras is already here. You're going to stay all 24 hours, Taylor? Yep. Oh, he's crazy. He's insane. Steve will be here. We actually have a lot of other people who will be here. Evan were you here last year, Evan? Yeah. Yep. And you're going to stay all 24? Yep. Crazy man. Crazy man. And you know what's nice? Last year when we began at 3 a.m., there were a couple of people here.
Oh, yeah.
We have you. We have Debbie. Thank you for coming in. Tanya, Karsten, Jason. Of course, our great engineering staff, Burke McQuinn. John Slanina is running the technical director's position today. Right now, of course, it'll switch off. Zach, who I just found out learned yoga yesterday. And taught me. Though, you know, Zach, you did beautifully. Thank you. I thought you did quite well. Zach's normally one of our editors, one of our newest hires here, actually. You know, it was fun because I actually knew all of those poses, Zach, and I was just playing along, pretending that I didn't know how to do that and I wasn't limber enough.
There are some segments
There's things coming up.
There's some things that I'm going to describe as maybe similar to yoga, high concept.
So one of the things that we did this year that's different is I have no idea what we're doing this year. It was kind of, the conceit was, all right, Karsten, Tanya, Glenn, you figure it out, and I'll just show up, and you'll give me a clipboard, and I'll go, what the hell, and then do it.
Well, and part of it is we also know last year we tried to plan everything. We tried to do our shows. We ran behind. People were confused about things. We said this year, it's TWiT, it's fluid. This is what we do best, I think. We do live, unpredictable programming.
And all right, so let's start with the apologies. If if for some reason we've scheduled you for a call and we don't get to you,
we're really sorry.
We're really, really sorry.
I'll send you a T-shirt.
Sometimes happens. And one thing that we've started just a couple of weeks ago that will be a good place for you to follow along if you can't watch live. And by the way, tell your friends, everybody, we'll be here till 3 a.m. Pacific New Year's Day. You can also watch our Inside TWiT feeds on Twitter. Is it at Inside TWiT?
It's at Inside TWiT. It's on Facebook. /Inside TWiT.
So Facebook.com/Inside TWiT.
Yes, and if you search Inside TWiT on Google+, we have a page
There's
there
a Google Plus community as well. And so those are 3 other places you'll be able to see backstage pictures, me putting on my yoga suit, things like that. And so that's something we just started a couple of weeks ago, and this is a perfect event to kind of
definitely
roll it
I
out.
think people really like to see that, to see sort of what goes on, how the sausage is made, and how we put this all together.
And Taylor's taking a lot of pictures, so Taylor and Evan, if you get pictures and you want to put them up there, just talk to Glenn or one of our producers. Anthony Nielsen is also here, also wearing a necktie, so something he doesn't usually wear, so that's nice. And it's great to have Chris here. Chris is one of our interns. Usually interns don't get up before noon. So nice of you. You probably didn't go to bed last night, did you?
No, I went to bed at 12.
He went to bed at 12.
After getting back.
3 hours ago.
After getting back from the Sierras. It's very cold, and now I'm very warm and very tired.
Chris, you think now you're young. You're a young guy. You think you can make it through 24 hours? If this old guy can, you could do it, right?
100%.
Yeah, all nighter, baby. Woo! I have to say, we saw the balloon drop for the first time. We have added to, not only is the balloon drop even better than last year, but we have a disco ball that goes along with that, so we can actually watch the ball drop, and we're going to watch that ball drop 27 times throughout the 24-hour period.
Well, that's something we learned. So our fan base, you know, the TWiT Army was also great in letting us know and educating us a little bit about time zones, because originally we thought, oh, they're what, 24, maybe 25?
We thought there'd be 24 and 24 hours.
Some of which start on the half hour.
And there's one at 45?
Yeah.
So we'll do all of those if we can.
You know what I didn't prepare now that I'm thinking about it? I'm like, I wish we would have prepared a history of time zones.
All right, get to work. You have 24 hours to work that up.
Go
Consider it like a paper.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll make something happen. Because it is interesting, you know. In this job, we get to learn about so many new and interesting, varied things. But this is one, you know, you never really think about it.
The bizarre history of time zones, like this Millennium Island thing, is fascinating. And by the way, we also welcome you to participate through the chat room. So we have the chat room on. We'll have it on all throughout the show at irc.twit.tv. And, of course, when you go in there, you're going to see a lot of people who are in there every single day, like Ozned and Mick and Beatmaster, our chat mods, and so many great people in there. But you're more than welcome. Even don't feel like just because you don't go in all the time, you're not welcome in there. We love to have you all in there. And if you first go in, especially if you go through the website, you'll get a handle like Web3761. Change that. Just use /Nick and give yourself a nice Happy New Year 2015 handle so that we can call you by name. All right. And we have people from all over the world. Hi, Ozned. She's in New Zealand, so she's already celebrated her New Year. Nepal is coming up in minutes. Kentucky, Sean, are you in Nepal? Because that would be confusing if you were. So lots of time to talk to all of you in the chat room and to visit with you. And now, John is working, I think, to get Dan Van Hoy. He works for Seat Crane, our good friend Bob Crane up there at the Seat Crane Company. He does QA sourcing and production management with radio, Wi-Fi products, and LED lighting out of Hong Kong and China. If you're a modern manufacturing company, almost all of them work with industrial manufacturer in China. You really have to have somebody on the ground in China to get that stuff done properly. Dan was here last year from Hong Kong. That's where he was with us last year. In fact, remember his family. We had a great great time. A tour of his living room. He had a big Happy New Year sign, a LED circle clock. I think there was an R2-D2, in fact, involved there. This time, Dan is on a plane, and I have not the highest certainty that we'll be able to get him. What is the other area that will be celebrating New Year in this hour? What are the areas that celebrate New Year's? We'll have to find out. And again, twit.tv/eBay. There we go. Here, oh, look at this. Wow, are we professional? Somebody took a picture of a map. So we did New Zealand, which was Solomon Islands coming up, Vanuatu. Okay, there you go. That second, the 11 in there. Is that it? New Caledonia. I've been there, actually. Pretty area. It's Caledonia, of course, is Scotland. And New Caledonia is New Scotland. There are no Scottish people there, as far as I know, however. Anybody else? So are we working on Dan Van Hoy, or should we just sit here some more and reminisce? I think we may not be able to guess. He's going to have to call us, I would guess. So we're just watching the phone, waiting for somebody to call on a Saturday night. Been there before. Again, a reminder, the place to go if you want to donate, UNICEFusa.org/twit. And the eBay auctions are twit.tv/eBay. And you'll have, those eBay auctions will continue through the end of the show.
Yeah, we have many of the majority of them closing at 2 a.m. So you have just under 24 hours.
That's when we'll get a big bump and maybe get to that $20,000. I think, we're at 4,000 now. I'm hoping we can get to 20,000 before the sun comes up here in Petaluma, California. That's 4 hours off.
Well, we'll see. And we're gonna have some. We talked about this. Some goals.
Yes.
As we hit those goals, maybe there'll be some rewards for the live stream.
That would be great.
At home.
That would be great.
Do you want to make a declaration, or would you like the chat room? Do you want to set sort of the first hurdle we want to cross?
What should it be? 10,000? 5,000? We're so close to 5,000. Let's make it 10,000.
Let's make it 10,000. Chat room. What would you like to see Leo do if we hit?
Oh, I have to do something?
Come on, we have to reward them. We have to give them some entertainment. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Good news, the Mechanical Bull's not here yet.
It's
right?
True. So you're safe for a while.
We are taking over the street out front. There are a few cars parked. If you haven't moved your car, please get it out of there because they're going to tow in a few hours, and we're going to take over the street in front, and we have a Mechanical Bull. Somebody told me a bounce house.
Yes.
I'm not going to have to get in that, am I?
It was sort of implied that Leo should get in there. I mean, come on, you don't get a
bounce house all the time.
Not use the bounce house. I mean,
you don't get a bounce house all the time.
We didn't get insurance for nothing. That's all I'm saying.
Now Randall Schwartz, who's also going to be here, he's our Floss Weekly host, tells me that we did miss a time zone. There was one 20 minutes ago, and I should say that we haven't. We don't have somebody in every time zone. We have about 20 of the 27.
Close,
We're amazingly close. And by next year, and I think that we will do this again every year, as long as everybody still wants to watch and we get some good donations. So we missed one, but we will get almost every other one then. So I'm going to go over to the big screen, I think.
Yeah.
Should I do that now?
Do we have the next thing ready to go?
Let's get the brain trust. They're all huddled now, and we'll just wait for Dan to call. And if he doesn't, we'll just still do a countdown, right? Because we should do a countdown. It's still yeah.
Even without someone.
We ought to thank CrowdRise too for doing the back end for this donation.
Yeah, and they've been great in just getting this all hammered out and making.
So you'll be going through. You'll see this when you go to UNICEFusa.org/twit. You're getting to a CrowdRise page.
And CrowdRise, just so people know, they're the exclusive online fundraising partner for UNICEF for doing team-based fundraising. And
so there's a lot of back end that has to be done for this, kind of thing, to have a tote board and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So let's walk over there. Yeah, and somebody said I should drop the dog from the roof. That's not going to happen. Don't worry. Ozzy isn't here yet. Ozzy and Lisa decided to sleep in, surprise. And I tiptoed out of the house at about 2:30 this morning. And here's our thermometer. And our professional tote board. We are currently at $4,110. Yay, thank you everybody for your contributions. That's great. Our next goal, $10,000, and the chat room is going to nominate me to do something silly for that $10,000. We're hoping to raise $20,000 in the 24-hour period. I think that we're going to bust that number all to get out, thanks to our very generous TWiT audience. So the next countdown is about 7.5 minutes away. It will be, we're hoping, Dan Hoy on the Universal Dateline from an airplane, Dan Van Hoy. But I should probably get a bottle of champagne ready because part of the fun of this, we've got 27 bottles of champagne, so we're already 2 behind. Are you going to throw money at me, Taylor? No, I'm going to give money to you. You're going to give money to me, Taylor Karras? That's a $100 bill, Taylor. Really? Thank you very much. That's very nice. We appreciate that. And what do I have to do for that?
Just do whatever the
I'll eat it. How about if I eat it? No, I won't do that. I'll put it in my pocket. We'll make sure that gets into the donation. Thank you, Taylor. Taylor came up today. You see him all the time in our chat room. I'm going to start getting this ready. You see our clock on the wall. That has been set to the atomic clock in Fort Collins, Colorado, WWV, very carefully by hand. John Slanina. Vince, you want to stay right there? John Slanina set that minutes before we began our show today because we had forgotten to set it. But it is exactly right now. That's right? All right. So we have 6.5 minutes before the next one. You know, I learned last year not to take the wire off, right? Because these will spontaneously erupt if given half a chance. Vince is slowly stepping farther and farther away. I'm not going to shoot you, Vince. I'm not. Chris, I might shoot you. Well, you're wearing a bumblebee outfit. It's kind of it's begging to be shot. No, I'll try to avoid the lights and hit somewhere in the ceiling of our Brick House studios. And these are, by the way, fine California champagne that we purchased at CVS. Costco, pardon me. And Jeff Needles, who is our procurer, how much did we pay per bottle? $7. Well, you got the fancy stuff. It went up this year because last year was $4. Wow. I think I saw this at CVS for 4 for $10. So if we run out, nobody. By the way, I got to point out, nobody drinks this stuff. Unless you know it's some dumb kid who wanders in and says, "Oh, free champagne," because this stuff will rot you. We actually use it down in the basement to dissolve the rust off nuts and bolts, and it works quite well. We just soak them in the champagne and it gets all clean. All right, we're counting down now 5 minutes to 2015. What time zone, John, are we looking at for 2015? Is this time zone 10 or 11 that we're going into now? You have the map, the magic map? No, sorry, John. I didn't mean to throw you on that one. It's 11? Plus 11. Okay. So this isn't yet Eastern Australia, or is it? Not yet. It's the other way around. It's Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands. We showed it a little bit earlier. And we'll continue to kind of keep you up to date. The beautiful Macquarie Island. We were hoping to get somebody from Macquarie Island, which is one of the closest places to Antarctica. And as you go north, you can see there's a lot of ocean and not a lot of people. And that's one of the reasons that we're going to have the hardest time getting people in those Pacific Ocean areas. But we were hoping, and maybe we will hear from Dan Van Hoy. Dan, you have 4 minutes to call us. Dan is flying over the international dateline. So that actually means that he isn't really, he's heading into 2015 from 2014 by crossing the dateline, which is a unique way to enter the new year. But I guess he would still have a countdown, wouldn't he? As the plane flies over, the pilot will probably say, we're about to enter 2015. There's going to be turbulence. I hope 2015 is a great year for you and yours, and we're really hoping to help make it a little bit of a better year with our raising money for UNICEF here. We have 3.5 minutes. Would anybody like to be catcher for the cork today? Jeff? Jeff Needles running as fast as he can. You're going to do it, Karsten? I'll just aim. I don't want to hit your eye, so just kind of lean into the frame. Yeah. He's wearing glasses. Actually, we should, you know what, before the end of the day. Hi, Steve Gibson. I would like somebody to wear protective garb, padding, perhaps some safety glasses, and we will, in fact, do some target practice. Don't you think that would be fun? All right, on the fly. There's Ryan Marsh, our lighting guy, who got up early to make sure that I'm perfectly lit. Nice job, Ryan. He didn't know that there'd be blinking LEDs right next to my face. All right, we've got 2 minutes and 45 seconds before it's 2015 in Area 12, Area 11. And they thought we'd have too much stuff to do to jam it in. Okay, Carson's going to put on those protective spectacles. Are there any soft body parts exposed? Yeah, just pretend it's a penalty kick. And in about we're 2 minutes and 15 seconds away, Karsten. And every, you know what we should do? We should line it up like a penalty kick. Get all of the staff lined up, and then whoever gets hit, I will give $100 to. Oh. No. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Wait a minute. You want to catch it? You have a catcher's mitt? No. All right. We've got 2 minutes. We're counting down. UTC plus 11. Should I do it like a bride over my shoulder? Like that? All right. And again, yeah, get some more protective gear. I feel like he should have like some sort of catcher's mitt. This is good. We could take out a member of the staff every hour. It'll be kind of a new kind of, yeah, fear factor for TWiT. You can see the clock, 3:58:45. That means we have 1 minute and 15 seconds left till the new year in UTC plus 11. Solomon Islands, still not too late for Dan Van Hoy to call. You know, my thinking is he probably isn't going to time crossing the date line exactly at midnight UTC plus 11, right? So he may just call sometime in the middle of the show. We don't know when he's going to call. All right. Do we have the balloon drop prepared? Yes. Is the ball ready to fall? How long does it take the ball to fall? 10 seconds? So when we start with 10, I will count down. Now, you know, I've been watching all week. I saw that rope tied to that stanchion over there, and I wasn't sure what that was for. Now I know. That's the ball. Ryan Marsh on the ball. We have 25, 24. Everybody can join me in the countdown if you wish. We're at 20 seconds till New Year, UTC plus 11. And we're going to aim at Karsten Bondi for this one. Are you ready? All right, the ball is about to drop at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Where's the balloons? Where's the balloons? Drop the smoke. The balloons. Oh! And I missed Karsten. Nobody was injured in the making of